rap or whether it's thrash or whether it's pop, you have, you know, as long as it's sincere. I mean, there are good pop bands, and then there are the ones that come along and ruin it, and just do it because of that case, because of the #1 video and the platinum records, and to make the quick dollar. And same thing with rap. You know, a lot of that types of music get bad names because of the garbage that comes along with it. So, I mean, you just have to, for yourself, decide that it's sincere and it's really, you know, what they love to do. And it comes through. You know, hopefully I'm praying that people aren't that stupid, but I believe in everyone. One thing that if you ask anybody in the record label that works with us, we're definitely honest people, and we're definitely sincere, and we say what's on our mind. And whether sometimes it hurts us or it doesn't hurt us, I'd rather go to bed at night knowing we're doing what we love to do. And if it happens, great. You know, we want it to happen. That's why we're doing this. We want it to get out as many people. But if it doesn't, I'd rather be happy with what we did. At least know that we did it. We did it what we wanted to do. We weren't being phony about it. We weren't doing something to stay safe and make sure we do that insta hit. You know, I feel that our songs are not your typical metal stuff, but I think that they are singable, and I think that they are capable of being on the radio. I don't think they're like progressive rock. It's not like Yes.
I think we pleased the label with enough songs on this record to go ahead and do some experimentation without them going, oh no, you know, we made them happy with Decadence Dance and stuff like that. So that gave us enough control to do some out to lunch stuff that they would consider out to lunch. At first, we picked the songs and just as on a level of what we wanted to pick. And after that, that's when the concept came up, as far as looking at it lyrically and going, wow, there's a storyline here. And with a few changes and a few different things, all we had to do was patch it up. But the concept came after we wanted these songs on the record.
Musically, usually 90% of the time, I mean, usually I would just be, you know, working on something on a 4-track or an 8-track musically, and pretty much put the whole song together, you know, even, you know, try to get all the instruments in there, so that way, you know, when you present it, I just give it to Gary, and because I can't write a lyric to save my life, and I give it to Gary, and he does his thing, you know, and it really works out great. I mean, when we were in previous bands, before we actually met each other and started working, I mean, I never had written like this ever, you know. I mean, it was just like I would write a couple songs a year if I was lucky. But the chemistry just, I mean, we just started writing and writing and writing, and it's just like, we just don't stop, you know what I mean? It's not, we don't sit down and say, let's write today. It usually just comes, and, you know, I feel very lucky, you know. 6, 7 years ago, I mean, I was locked in my room learning, you know, a few people's, you know, everything they've ever done, and then to actually read in a magazine or something that they mention you, it's just, you can't even stomach it, you know, you're like, what's going on? And it just spins you around, and you can't. It's hard to just even, you try to just like, you know, just, that's not really true. It's great. It's just, you know, it's.
But to separate it a little, I mean, that like, I would love to end it there as far as in the studio, because ultimately this band is a live band and a performing band, and I feel we're going to be.
We're out to get those bands.
We're out to get the people. We're out to get the people, and we're out to get our point across as far as being performers. Pornography, the theme has that to offer as far as, sure, there's a lot of macho on this record, but, you know, that's just a side of the character that we wanted to show. It's just as important to show the vulnerable side, and that, look, you know, more than words is probably like, to explain it would be like a searching for a love, you know, more than the words itself, just the emotion he's looking for.
Yo, this is Nuno Bettencourt.
And this is Gary Sharon of Extreme.
And you two can win this guitar, this Washburn KC40. Lovely Canary Yellow, is that what
Yes, it's Canary Yellow, and the only way you can win it is if you answer a question.
And what is
Don Pardo's here to tell you all about it.
Well,
all you have to do is answer this simple question. What's the name of the character on the new
Extreme
record?
Pornography cover album.
Yeah, the little character on the cover of the record. What is his name? And you can win this new Canary Yellow Washburn guitar.
You can also get the Game Boy version of Tetris.
First of all, I have no clue where I am. Second of all, we're here because, we're in Nottingham, I believe. I think that Robin Hood is living up the street. Actually staying at the hotel, Robin Hood, and we can't move the bus because, see, we pay for the bus every day, but we can't use it because we can't afford the gasoline. We weren't expecting what happened when we got in Europe, meaning sold-out shows, and I know they weren't the biggest venues, but still, for a first time over, it was just very unexpected. And I think there's a serious buzz happening here, and I think that when we come back, I think we can do the shows that, you know, the bigger shows. I think we're going to be able to, because I think the people here don't let the fluff get in. You know, we're playing in Europe and doing some, like, for instance, we did a festival in Holland. It was more or less a thrash festival, and the band was afraid to do it. By the time I got off the bus that day to get to the dressing room, they were saying, I heard 10 times, are you going to do more than words? Are you really going to do more than words? I'm like, why are they asking me that? Well, of course we're going to do more than words. We weren't about to cater to an audience. We're just going to do what we're doing. If they love us, great. And you know, joking around, I said, hey, that's going to be the highlight of our show, you know what I mean? Just bear with it and just, you know, believe that, because I bet you it will. And in the back of my mind, I had a little bit of doubt, but they went from, like, you know, throwing themselves over the barriers about 100 times to singing more than words from word to word. And it was a great feeling, because, you know, it gave hope to what we're trying to do, which is just, you know, tell people to just enjoy music. And if they enjoy it, don't be afraid to say I like more than words because there's a metal fan next to you, you know, all that. We always believed that the Beatles and Simon Garfunkel, guys like that, when you go back and listen to it, the production is not that great, and neither is the singing a lot of the times, you know. But the memory in your head is that it is perfect because the song is so powerful. Obviously, you know, when it comes to a guitar player, the guitar press, meaning the guitar world and all the guitar player magazines, don't really wait for you to be successful as a band, so they'll always, you know, if they like a guitar player, they'll always do that. And, you know, there was one thing before about the band, you know, people ask if that was strange for the band, for me getting a lot of the attention. That pretty much was what was keeping us visible. We were lucky enough to have that, you know what I mean, and the band knew that, and we know our place, and we know what we do, and know what we're capable of, and, you know, whatever press we get, the second anybody comes to see us live, they'll know, you know, all this guitar stuff and all this separation or segregation of each member will disappear, because, you know, you'll see where the band is at and what the real thing is about. Like, I remember going to the MTV Awards and them saying that having pamphlets about how uncool censorship was. But yet, I remember sending the Decadence video, which to me wasn't really, you know, it might have had girls in the video, but it was nothing really risque about it. And they censored Gary throwing his, you know, flinging his little cartoon mucus membrane thing out of his nose. They said we had to cut it out because it was just too, you know, appalling. I mean, I can't read a note till I Save My Life on paper, and it was cool writing some parts and seeing like a six-piece horn section in the studio. Some of these guys played, you know, Tonight Show with Johnny Carson's band, and they were like legends, you know, playing. They played on like Stevie Wonder's Superstitious and all that stuff. And seeing playing my horn parts was pretty, you know, it was pretty wild. Every record we sell, we do it like in person, you know what I mean? We didn't get any favors in the beginning. We went and played for each person, sold that record, and it's like going door to door, you know what I mean? You're earning every sale. And in the end, that's like doing it the way it was done in the 60s and 70s, because in the end, you develop a really solid following, and they'll always be there.
We don't really like categories, you know what I mean? Like, we hate to be called a metal band, because I don't think we are, and at the same time we're not a pop band, and we're not a funk band, but the terms, you know, there seems to be this thing going on now with this funk metal thing, this, you know, this bandwagon is supposed to be really popular. You know, there's bands like the Chili Peppers and Faith No More and bands like that that have this funk thing going, but I think Extreme is different in the sense where we didn't bring one element in, like a slap bass player that had a funk thing, and mix it up with hard rock. We grew up on a funk that was like an Aerosmith funk, and a Zeppelin we thought was funky at times, and also Van Halen. And it's more of a rock and roll funk, that groove-wise, that we naturally always had from the beginning. That's why we have to play live, and we have to get out and play for people, because that's where the band shines, and that's where our strongest points are, which hasn't been the case in the last 10 years of a lot of bands. I mean, you know, a lot of bands nowadays are trying to bring their videos with them, and you know, whatever they need to bring taped vocals and whatever they need to make them look like their video, that's what they're worried about. We don't really care about that, and we separate studio and live, and we're worried about the studio when we're in the studio, and we're worried about live when we're playing live. Nowadays, I think the bands that take photo sessions with Jack Daniels and go out on stage and bring it, I think they're wrong in the sense where that's very phony. You know, I think if you do it, fine, do it. But you got to understand, a band like Guns N' Roses, who sells 8 million records and has got 8 million fans out there, and has to have a little responsibility within themselves. If they're closer to God, because when you write a song like Axl did, that song "One in a Million" was on the acoustic record, and I know there's freedom of speech in the U.S., in the U.S., which is great. I know, censorship is wrong, but when you go in a song and you say, hey nigger, move out of my way, and you call someone faggot, me and you might know what he means. You and I, sorry, proper English, you and I might know what he means, but there's going to be some kids that are waiting for every word that Axl says. Next thing you know, they're going to be going to school and calling the black kid a nigger because Axl thinks it's cool, and Axl says it's cool. Extreme to us is artistic license, from one extreme to the other, to expect, the unexpected and to be unpredictable and not just be a generic, predictable band. We want to go to boundaries which we haven't touched. We want to do things that people will never expect from a rock band.
Today we have here a man from Extreme. Who are you?
Who am I? They tell me I'm somebody, but I think I'm just called Nuno. My name is Nuno Bettencourt. I attempt at playing guitar, and only on weekends.
So, how old are you?
I am 25.
When did you learn to play guitar?
Still learning.
Okay. Who is the guitar player that you admire?
If he played guitar, it would be Woody Allen, but he doesn't, unfortunately. But I still admire him.
Do you sleep naked?
Sometimes.
What's your favorite drink?
Probably spring water.
What did you eat for breakfast?
Nothing. I haven't had time.
So you're from Boston, so which do you prefer, Boston Bruins or Boston Celtics?
I'm a bigger Celtics fan, but I'm still a Boston Bruins fan. Actually, we have 2 Bruins in our video.
What do you like about George Bush?
I like how much money he spends on his wife's clothes. I think that's good.
What would be your message to the audience or to the world?
Message to the world. That's pretty general. I'd say if somebody's still searching for God, I think he's right here. And I think I always have a belief that God is love and love is God. It's the same thing. So it's all here in front of us. We just have to get in tune.
Okay, how was your childhood?
How was it?
Yeah.
Look at me. I was a mess. It was horrible. No, it was okay. Being the youngest of 10 kids, it was okay.
So are you a good person?
Of course I am. I'm the best.
It was like when me and Gary were walking to a radio station when we were doing a promo thing. They'd just take a look at you and they go, oh, here's another hair band. And a lot of people have come, up front and said that's what we did in the beginning. But when we, like, for instance, we go on and we do More Than Words, or they'd say, oh, wow, we got some depth, and we just never had a chance. And we always knew, without sounding cocky, in the back of our minds, all we need is just like a shot for people to hear what we're about. And maybe it took More Than Words just to shock everybody and say, wow, we better step back and look in and see what's really on this record.
By the time it came out, we were so, we had putting out singles and singles, whatever, and for whatever reason that worked, it's fine with us. It was fine with me.
Yeah, it wasn't like, it wasn't a strategy. It was like, all right, we released Decadence, we released Funk, time to release More Than Words. Went to Europe for a month, the record went, More Than Words went to #1, went gold. By the time we got home, it was platinum.
We missed the whole thing.
It was like in a month, and it was like, what happened?
We left home paupers and we rode back platinum helmets on.
More Than Words comes out, they take the sticker off our record. We're not mean anymore. They put us in the nice category.
But you missed the whole section where we became a funk band.
Oh, then we got a funk metal record.
Yeah, right.
What do you think about this funk wave with the Chili Peppers and Faith No More? We're like, we've been doing this for 6 years. There's nothing to do with it.
This album,
and that's only part of us, the funk thing.
Yeah, we didn't grow up on our funk sound isn't bringing in a slap bass player with a thrash band, and now we're a funk metal band. Well, funk always comes from grooves from like Aerosmith and Zeppelin and Halen that were always there.
A funked up fairy tale. Do you want to explain that? To give you a clue, it's all revolves around the character on the cover of the record.